Welcome back to Be the One. This is Nadia. I'm doing Power Book 4 Force Episode 2 review. We're going to get right into it. Take a minute to like, comment, subscribe, thumbs it up, thumbs it down, do whatever you want to do. Thank you. Alright, so let's get right back into it. Tommy was by the water smoking or whatever, and he's thinking again, reflecting on everything. He's still kind of going through it in his quiet time when he's alone, and he's looking at a picture of him, Keisha, and Cash, you know. So they're just showing that, and it was like a nice skyline view they were showing. The next thing you know, there's a bar that's getting shot up, like somebody with a Uzi pointing out of the window, and it turns out to be JP's bar, and he calls Tommy. I guess he might have wanted help cleaning it up or something. He later he mentioned something about his ex-husband, and he asked Tommy, is that a problem? Because I guess he didn't know if Tommy would, you know, discriminate on him or something because he was gay. And he's also telling him that he doesn't have any family besides his dad, and his dad is sick. So he's like in and out of hospital or something, and they have a lot of debt because of the hospital bills, and then that's like the third time that the bar's been shot up. uh, Tommy says he has a way that he can make some money. Walter Flynn has some kind of cancer. Like, there was a doctor that called and left a message pretty much, saying, he needs to deal with it as urgent, and he kind of just blew it off. Um, and he ends up talking to Vic about it, and basically Claudia doesn't know. Vic wants to tell her, he wants his dad to tell her, so, you know, when their mother got sick, it was kind of like a shock, I guess, and she passed away, and she was sick or whatever, and it wasn't like much preparation for it. Like, you didn't have a chance to get ready for it. Jannard and Diamond, I thought it was a boxing place, like a gym at first, but they were at the barbershop, and they were just like working out on the punching bags. Let's see. I'm trying to move it right along and make this one fast. Tommy was minding his business in like an alley, and this lady pops up, and she just started attacking him. She's just low key trying to beat his ass. Um, he looks at her face. He see that she has a cut in her face, and he like Liliana. He recognized her. She was from the beginning of Power, like in the first season or two. She was one of the couriers that was running drugs for them, and pink sneakers cut her face. So she had been hearing about a white dude in town that was acting crazy, doing stuff, and that the white dude had a blue Mustang. So Julio in the past had paid her to leave town, and because she hearing this stuff and she knows that it's Tommy, she's thinking that he's coming back to like kill her or something. He didn't know she was there. He didn't know anything about her. But at the same time, he sees her and he recognizes her. He's thinking that she's coming to kill him. He's trying to figure out who sent her. And both of them pretty much, they think each other is out to kill each other, and that's not what it is. But for Tommy, because when he left New York, he pretty much faked his death. He thinking somebody found out, so that's why he's trying to like attack her. uh Gloria's taking a shower, and she comes out the shower, and Vic ass is standing there. So, we knew they had some type of dealing or whatever, but it was deeper than originally thought, because, you know, I'm assuming they were in like a whole ass relationship, and he had a key to her house. Um, she was asking him what he was doing there, and he pretty much he wants them to be together. She says she loves him too, but like their family dynamic, the Flynn's, and just the, I guess, the Irish gang situation, he's not pretty much allowed to be with anybody other than another white woman, preferably Irish, and they can have an Irish son. But what if they have kids and it's not a boy? So I don't know how they're gonna do that. But so Gloria is saying like they could never be a real thing, even if his dad was out of the question. If he's running this, they could never be together for real. And he's saying, if you don't want me here anymore, then change the locks, because he's not giving her key back, basically. Pretty much on some stalker shit. Tommy goes to meet Jannard and Diamond. Now, Diamond was in jail for 15 years. So Jannard has been running it all this time. So the youngins in the like the young shooters and stuff, they all follow Jannard because pretty much they like 16, 17 years old for 15 years. So all they know is Jannard. That's who they follow. That's who's in charge. And pretty much Jannard has the youngins on lock. Now, when Tommy showed up, like, he let him know he had a gun on him. He was like, the safety is on, y'all take it. But they wasn't trusting him or whatever, and they had their guns, the youngins had their guns on Tommy, and Diamond was telling them to chill out or whatever, but they wouldn't listen to him. They looked to Jannard to give the okay whether or not to, take your guns off them or whatever. Which, I mean, if they know he was in charge before and they know that's his brother, they should have fell in line. But at the same time, Jannard is who they've been working under all this time, and that's who pays them as far as they're concerned. So I get it, but they didn't show respect for the big homie. After that, Tommy and Diamond, they go outside and they're just talking or whatever, and he's kind of trying to scope out, figure out what he wants or whatever. Next thing you know, some dudes rolling up. It was some Latino guys, and Tommy didn't know if they were coming for Diamond or they were coming for him, because at this point, because he ran into Liliana, he feels like somebody coming for him. But it turns out they were really, coming for Diamond. So that was Rojas people. They kidnapped them, put the bags over their head like Lobos did and stuff in the past with Ghost and Tommy. Um, so it turns out they kidnapped him to force him to make the drops for their heroin because it was hot in the street. And basically, the reason why Rojas is in a wheelchair is because Diamond beat his ass or something so bad that it pretty much left him paralyzed. So he trying to basically make him his bitch on the street, make him do the dangerous work and keep his people out of, keep the heat off of them, you know. So because basically Tommy, when they kidnapped him, he told him like, why y'all showing me your face? Why y'all, basically just asking them questions about why, like the way they did the kidnapping just didn't make no sense. And that's gonna come back later. So Tommy let Diamond drive his car, I'm assuming because he knows the city, and instead of him giving him directions, it's easier to let him drive. And they're just talking, and it just like they related really well, and they both from the old school, the way they like to do stuff. Diamond was saying Jannard, like, he wants the microwave. He wanted to be quick. He wants the money to be quick, everything to be quick. He wants the rise to the top to be quick, everything. And the old school, you had to scope it out, and it's a like a slow burn. You peep everything out. You see what's safe. You're trying to keep the heat off of you, and that's the thing about Tommy and Ghost. They didn't. They ended up, eventually getting locked up, but for real, they pretty much stayed off of the police's radar to the point where when, they were actually looking for Ghost, they thought Tommy was Ghost. Cause they just knew the name. They didn't know who the person was. What else? But Tommy and Diamond, they had a respect for each other because they were the same kind of people. Claudia tries to tell her dad that their product is outdated, basically, and she wants to broaden the horizons. I think she told Vic first, and he was supposed to relay the message to the dad because he would accept that from him more so than her saying something, because they just want her to be the woman. Um, so Vic didn't really do it, so she just started telling her dad about it, and he just shut her down once again. At a certain point, she gonna get tired of that. Well, she already tired of it, but she gonna start rebelling for real and doing her own thing. So back to Tommy and Diamond, they're making the drops. They supposed to have 3 hours to make all of these drops, basically without getting killed or whatever, or arrested. So they, it's business as usual. They make drops, everything's going fine. The Rojas main guy who had the flashy shirt on, he's watching Jannard, and I guess he felt like they were taking too long, so he some kind of way he kidnapped Jannard, and they beat his ass, and they put him on like video, all beat up, and they sent that to Diamond and tell them they got an hour now or something. Like they was trying to speed it up. Yeah, they was trying to speed it up, and they couldn't just go and save Jannard because they had to make the drops, because which, I mean, I don't know how that worked, because they said it was gonna kill him if they ain't make the drops, but they was kind of saying it was gonna kill him if they did. I think, I don't know. It was kind of weird how they put that together. Um, so they wind up going. They wind up going. They make all the drops. They go to pick up Jannard, and he's still alive. He's fine. He's just beat up. But they have like snipers up top with the red dots, and you know, it was no sense in trying to fight them or do anything. Just get Jannard and dip. So that's what they did. So later, Tommy winds up at his grandma's house, and he's talking to JP. JP still kind of rubbed the wrong way, because he like, why would why would his mom leave him? But I think the thing is, maybe at the time she was heavy on drugs or something, and the dad might have taken him. I don't know if she just left him, because she had a weird, almost kind of obsessed relationship with Tommy. They had a unhealthy, codependent, weird ass relationship. But I think she actually does love Tommy. So I don't know. She probably loved her other son too, but it was just, she probably was strung out, and the dad just took him. I'm thinking. So I know at some point Kate crazy ass is gonna come out here. Hopefully it's not because the grandma dies, but I think JP is gonna want to know, and he might make Tommy promise to allow him to meet her. And Tommy gonna be like, I don't know why you want to meet her, but he's probably just gonna do that for him. And I think I skipped it. Diamond, when Tommy was inside making one of the drops, Diamond got, he wasn't even driving. He was parked in the like on the side of the road, and he was texting or on his phone or something. The police stopped him saying it's illegal to text and drive. And he's talking really slow. He's like, I'm not going to move my hands off the steering wheel and all that kind of stuff. I'm not going to make sudden moves, because he's trying not to get shot. And he's like, he fresh out of jail. He's institutionalized. And it's just probably trauma from being stopped in the past. They're like, well, he said it's not my car. So you driving a car that's not yours with out-of-state plates. But he wasn't driving. So Tommy come out, and he had to use his white privilege. He's like, hey, what are you doing to my car or something? And the police like, this is your car, bro? He's like, yeah. Well, what is he doing or something? He's like, that's David Sampson, I think that's their last name. That's David Sampson, my barber, or whatever. And he says, oh, okay. And he says something about, he heard about pizza in Chicago and it wasn't good or something like that, because he's from New York, and New York and Chicago argues about pizza. Yeah, so Tommy, I'm sure he has a fake identity, and he re-registered the car under the fake identity, or changed the serial number or something. Because the police like, okay, cool, let me run your plates, your license, your ID, or whatever, and you'll be on your way. And Tommy always been around black people and stuff, and I guess as the audience, we know he's white, but to see him use the white privilege is just weird, because we kind of see him as our brother. But yeah, back when Tommy was at Grandma's house talking to JP tells him that he has a son that he hasn't seen since the son was 2 years old. When he came out as gay, the ex-wife or the child's mother pretty much kept him from him. And while he's talking about the son, they show the little shooter from the beginning that shot up his bar with the same Uzi with the silencer on it. He was walking down like an alleyway, and I guess he had like a little hiding space that he hides his gun when he's not using it, I guess, to not bring it in his house. And so this little boy is JP's son. Now, I think he's probably attacking the dad's bar, JP's bar, because he's probably holding some kind of resentment, because he probably thinks that he just abandoned him. And he had a picture of him when he was a baby with JP. So I feel like it's like some kind of, he's the pain that he's feeling or something, he's taking it out in a violent way. And we don't know like what kind of person his mom is. Like, I don't know if she was a good person or not. And JP, like, he says he's just a bar owner, because when Tommy went over there, he asked him like basically what kind of front was he using the bar for, and he was like, he's not using it for anything, it's just what it is, a bar. But we don't know if he has like a dark past, or is he just square. We don't know. We get Tommy sitting by like a bridge or something, and he's sitting on the back of a car, and you could hear people like making noise. At first I didn't know where it was coming from. He had people in the trunk of the car. What happened, he went back and kidnapped Rojas people. I guess because he was mad because they kidnapped him and they was stupid enough to show their faces and like where they were and all that kind of stuff. And he's sitting there with a bottle of Jameson. He takes a swig of the Jameson. He gets up off the car and he's pouring the Jameson like in a trail as he's getting off of the car, or like walking away. And then he lights a cigarette or something and then he throws it. And of course, it just lights up. It goes towards the car. He's walking away. And then there's like a big ass explosion behind him. Okay. All right. He next thing you know, he got on his little black like Ghost used to wear kinda, and he goes and knocks on the window at the barbershop, and they look up, and he was like a Versace or like one of them shirts. I think it was like that flashy ass shirt that Rojas boy had on. He holds it up and lets it drop down so they could see. And they like, God damn. What else? He went to see Gloria and he's just talking to her and she asked him why he came back and he's like, I have I found a reason, or I have a reason. And she was looking like, he said, don't worry, it ain't you. I thought that was funny. Earlier, oh, and when he's talking to her, Vic stalking ass is looking in the window. She was like talking to Tommy. She was telling him, well, he at first I'm sleepy, y'all. It's like 2 something in the morning. He was talking to her and he was like basically acknowledging that she was paying Vic and them. And she was like, how you know that? He was saying because he knows like a cash drop off envelope or something when he sees it. And he was asking her if she needed his help or something like that. She said she bought the bar because she always wanted to have an actual restaurant, but the bar was like more affordable and they had a kitchen in the back. So she still could do her cooking and sell food, but the bar was running and she basically had them for protection, the Flynn people. Um, she was about to tell him, I think, that she used to or is whatever dating Vic, but he was like, there always is. He didn't want to know. And then he leaned in and kissed her. And when he kissed her, that's when Vic stalking ass looked through the window. So now he's even more pissed. And he didn't know that Tommy was still in town because he was supposed to leave. So now he knows that he's here. And he see that he's like trying to get with his girl. So he ain't gonna like that. Earlier, Tommy was like around the city and he saw a sign that said for rent or something, cash only or money only. It was dollar signs. So he goes back to that place. He I don't know if he called. He knocked on the door. The man answered. He pulled out like a wad of money and gave it to him and said, you don't remember me, or I was never here, or something. And the man said something like, my memory is something about his memory. Basically, he need more money to forget that he ever seen him. So he tells Tommy he's gonna go get his toothbrush or something, and Tommy pull a gun out on him and like get another one or something. So he just walks in there, and the place wasn't ready to be rented. So it's like the man had empty bowls sitting on the counter and stuff. The bed wasn't made. It was just like stuff just all over the place. But when you look at it, like the windows and stuff, I believe it was an old firehouse, but it looks a lot like the old loft that he had in New York, so it was right up his alley. And he like him a old nasty industrial loft. So like once if he actually cleans it up a little bit, like it's gonna be very reminiscent to the old school loft apartment situation he had. He decided to catch up with old Liliana again. Um she was watching TV and she hears a noise. His ass done broke in the house. Um 'Cause he really feel like somebody sent her to track him, and they couldn't finish fighting earlier because the police had stopped by, like rolled by, and they just had to smile at each other and keep it pushing. So he was asking how she found him again, and she was saying it was divine intervention or whatever, you know. So at this time, they beating each other ass. She was getting the best of him. He was getting the best of her. Like they was fighting like for real. It was funny though. It's not supposed to be funny, but it was funny because like she was handling hers. So he finally got her down on the ground, and he was about to stomp the piss out of her, but she moved like in the nick of time. And when she moved, it was in front of the stove. He stomped down hard as hell. His foot went through the floor, and he when he looked down, like I guess it was a false floor or something. They had, I don't know what it was. I don't know if that was cocaine or heroin. I don't know. It was a kilo, and it had the Jimenez on it. Well, I don't know if it was the Jimenez. It was a card with a spider on it, but it wasn't like the old Jimenez card. So I don't know if somebody took over their organization and they used a similar card to make people think that it was them, or did a different organization take it over? Because the Jimenez are dead, the two main ones, but they might have somebody else, and they just started using a different card. So I'm not sure, but you know, this is going to be interesting. People are saying that the show is slow. To me, they're building a story and they putting a little action in there. The first episode, they started off with the sex, because people missed that from the old Power. I could take it or leave it. um I don't know, it's just gonna be interesting. I'm excited to see where it's going. Thank y'all for watching me. I know this is a little